Good evening, folks. Welcome to Arclight's Asylum. I'm your host, Zach. We got another episode of Real-Time Painting for you tonight. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, Aries Minis and Games. Derek's been helping support my endeavors for a few years now. I'm very grateful for it. Check out his web store for anything and everything Battletech. He's also got a ton of other miniature game lines available, card games, all that good stuff. I am Canadian, but he is my number one pick for anything Battletech related coming from south of the border. Tonight's episode won't be too long, probably an hour and a half. Not necessarily including the little chat bit at the end in the Discord, but we're just adding some grass tufts and flocking and clump foliage and stuff, but I'm going to kind of walk you through my process. It's going to be good. Finally finishing this binary. Very happy to be getting to the end of this. So I hope you enjoy. Quick reminder, pop on over to the Discord if you haven't already. In the Real-Time Painting channel, post all your work in progress shots, photos of your finished minis, any other hobby and art related things you want to share. I've got the link in the description on YouTube, and I've also got it in the chat. So check it out. Wow. Chat's already been busy. Papa Chicken, not at all certain why I've picked weird bromance as our dynamic, but here we are. That's okay, I'm all about weird bromance. I am in the infantry. You should see the weirdness that my friends and I do. Dewdrops, what up dudes and dudettes? Been waiting for the stream for several days and it begins an hour before I go to bed, so sad. Well, thankfully the stream won't be too long, so you'll actually catch most of it. Most of the important parts anyways. Audible Jello, what's going on? Sleep is for the dead, stay up and paint. Agreed. I'm pretty pooped too. I can't lie. I've got a sick daughter again, unfortunately, so just daycare is brutal for that. It's crazy. Audible Jello, I was fiercely refreshing my YouTube feed waiting for this to go live. Nice. Happy to hear you're just dripping in anticipation. Papa Chicken, you happen to have any work in progress shots of the white Hatamoto? I want to study it a bit, trying to do something similar with a warmer white and magenta instead of blue. My Hatamoto is actually mostly cold blue, but I can definitely send you. I think I have some work in progress shots on my PC. I'll see if I can post them in the Discord actually toward the end of the stream. Remind me. ARS, Asmodan, I struggle not to just default to my normal cool white recipe. Me too, honestly. It's just cool whites look really nice. Acros Jason, I'm so close to done with the Girly Man model. I'm going to call it, there's so many ways you can twist Robote Guliman's name. However the hell you pronounce it. I can't remember how you pronounce it. There's too many weird pronunciations for that name. And there's so many funny different words that people mix in there. Anyways. Yo, finally catching a stream. Go Canada. I see all the YouTube homies over there. Yeah. White Fox, SG. Hey, what's going on? Happy to see you in the chat. Bob G. Alrighty. Without further ado, let's get to the painting desk. And we're going to get started. All right. Audio levels are good. I got my Diet Coke in hand. As you can see, I have a number of things arrayed out here. I was prepared today, folks. Yes. Cheers. So, I have a number of different things here. We're kind of going to start from smallest and go bigger. That's just kind of my general approach when it comes to basing. So essentially these two different little flocking bits, like these are very fine flocking. This is a mix of like kind kind of a lighter foliage green and a darker evergreen green foliage. So it's, you know, got a lot of mixture. And then this is just a straight up blended turf from Woodland Scenics. This will probably literally last me for the rest of my life unless I do like a big terrain board or something. But yeah, I really enjoy this stuff. I'll zoom in on it and you can actually see like how many different colors there are in it. It's like a lot of reds and browns and a few different kinds of lighter greens. It's pretty nice. It's really good for like ground covering in like wooded areas, as well as even just like dry prairie grass, that kind of stuff. Yeah, pretty slick. I've also got different variants of clump foliage. So I've got this lighter green stuff, and that's kind of very similar to the light green that's in this. I've also got a darker green, which is also similar to the darker green in this. So they kind of match, which is nice. It's very thematic. Pardon me. I just have a lot of this stuff, so that's why I have it in this massive jar. And then I've also got some like autumn colored stuff. We'll see about sprinkling some of this in there. I do have a desire to use a little bit of this just to add a little bit of variation, but we'll see. And then I've also got a number of gamer grass tufts. I have a pretty substantial collection. These are not all of them. I have some like neon grass tufts and other things like that, but yeah, I have quite a big variation here. So I've got like kind of some taller ones. These are kind of, at this scale, I use these a lot like shrubs, and they're really meant to be used as shrubs. So if you look at them closely, they're not just grass tufts. Actually very shrubby. So these make for good like swamp scrub if you want to have like a swampy base, or just like something with thick vegetation and like shrubs and bushes. This is really good stuff, and it works really well at scale. So the other ones here are also just like spiky green tufts, but these are much taller. So again, this just works well as like, you know, dense wood, you know, underbrush and like swampy areas. Like I have like really tall scrub brush like this that is like, you know, gets like 15 feet tall, sometimes taller, just on the edges of swamps in Manitoba here. So this is just really good mimicry of that, just kind of looking at my environment around me, and this gives me good ideas. So and then yeah, just various tufts. I've got a few different sizes. When it comes to Battletech scale, or it's just 6mm scale in general, I would generally recommend sticking to 2mm tall tufts. It generally is just going to be your best bet, because 6mm scale means that, you know, a 6 foot tall person would be 6mm tall up to their eye level. I know a lot of people think it's the top of the head, but it's actually supposed to be eye level. There's a few reasons for that, which we can actually get into. But yeah, so having like 4 or 6mm grass tufts, like you could use those, but you're basically making like elephant grass at scale. So I like using the shorter stuff just because it's a lot more realistic, especially if I have like infantry or something on a base or battle armor. It just fits a lot better. So these are kind of the last things that we're going to end up putting on. I want to really try to fill these out with a lot of the blended turf and a bit of the green stuff, and then we're going to start working in some of the clump foliage, and then we'll pick out a number of these tufts to add on. So I like using Mod Podge a little bit more than PVA glue, and the reason being, when this stuff dries, water will not reactivate it. So it's just very handy for that. Once it dries, it's good to go. White Fox SG, quick question. Is there a reason you don't use the miniatures and models category? Oh, on Twitch? No, I really should probably change the category. I just have mine under art in general. But yeah, I probably should have it under the miniatures and models category. Good point. Maybe I'll change that after in a break or something, or towards the end of the stream, or after the stream. Griffin, what's going on? Emalokes, those autumn ones are nice. Yeah, I really like them. They just add a nice little touch to bases. Dewdrops, when will you upload this VOD to YouTube? I'd really like to be able to watch this once again. I'm streaming directly to YouTube, so literally as soon as this stream is over, it's available. You can watch the entire thing immediately after the stream. So, yeah. Very handy. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start dual streaming, was just to avoid all of the annoyance of having to upload the files afterwards. I am going to use my holder just to make things a little bit easier here. I'm literally just using an old, like, kind of crappy number 2 brush here, and I'm just going to kind of cover a decent amount of the area. I'll get kind of in near the feet, and this Mod Podge is heavily watered down. It's probably it's a bit more than a 50-50 mix of like slightly more water to Mod Podge mix. So we're covering quite a bit of all of this, which is totally fine. I'm going to go straight to the blended turf, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tap a little bit out right there. It was a little bit more than I wanted. Let's back this up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I'm also going to get a little bit of the green stuff, and just going to kind of tap a bit out there. Don't need as much, so. And I'm just going to use this as like a catch saucer of sorts. And it's not ideal, but I'm going to just kind of turn this off to the side and just give it a gentle blow just to get some of the excess off. I usually do end up like wiping down my desk after I do this, just because I will have little bits of flocking kind of all over my desk. I do sometimes utilize like an old cafeteria tray to help collect some of this, but honestly, it's just pretty negligible. I'll just wipe my desk down after. Just gonna pick a couple other areas here and just gonna kind of mix in some of this green fine flocking with the blended turf, just to show either seasonal change or just a general vegetation change on the ground. Like if you live near the prairies or you drive through the prairies and you see actual prairie, not like groomed prairie, there's a ton of different colors and textures and heights of grasses and all kinds of different like tiny shrubs and plants that grow. It's not just, you know, one type of grass. So it's having a bit of variation like this definitely helps. Okay, so pop this guy back on. I did varnish these, so these are like, and they're well and dry and cured, so they are safe to handle. So as you can see, I've just got like a little touch of green on there. It just kind of pops against the more brown and red tone of the blended turf, which is nice. It's just a nice little touch. And we're going to do this with all of them. And we're going to put varying amounts. We're not going to like cover all the bases with as much of this. Some of them we're going to cover with a bit less. Go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit here. And I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't make a mess. As I said, it's very easy to knock that lid over with an elbow or something. I've definitely done it before, and then it makes a giant mess. I do want to be careful not to go over the edge of the base. I'm just gonna try to hit a few of these areas like so. little bit of the blended turf first. I definitely find having like a very fleshed out process for stuff like this helps. That way you don't have to think too much about it. Cool. All right. I mean, no pressure from White Fox SG. I mean, no pressure. Was just curious. I don't know when they added it, but I've seen others using it recently for painting minis. Yeah, I seem to remember not seeing like a miniatures and models one when I first made the channel like a year ago. I think that's why I just picked art. But yeah, maybe it was a recent thing, or maybe it always was, and I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I misspelled it. Who knows? Papa Chicken, Dewdrops, A Gentle Blow, what a courteous gentleman. White Fox, love it. For my bright blue, I was thinking of fall foliage to pop with it. Yeah, definitely. Like, having contrasting colors always helps. I'm just going to do a few areas of green, not a lot, and I'm going to kind of keep them separate on this one. I'm not going to overlap them. Just little bits. Let's give it a good tap and a gentle blow. There we go. I really like that. I like getting everything to the same finish. I just find all the colors pop a lot more once I do that final like satin coat and then the ultra matte. So bright. I love how bright the blue turned out on these. And same with the canopies. Just taking a minute to appreciate. Go to the Conjurer next. It's been a long time working on these. I think it's the longest time I've spent working on like a set of miniatures this year. Actually, that's not true. My Eridani Light Horse stuff probably took me a bit longer, but that was also like 4 times as many miniatures. So I spent way less time per miniature on those than I did these. That is for sure. I'll have to add up all the time on stream painting these, and then kind of do the quick maths and divide it and see how much time I spent estimated per miniature. I'll also have to account for the fact that I spent about 2-ish hours adding decals to all these, so I'm just noticing a small area on the base here. I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little bit of shine, and it's just where a little bit of that satin varnish is showing through, so I'll have to, at the very end, I'll probably just brush on a little bit of ultra matte there just to kill those tiny little bit of speckles of shine. Let's go ahead and add just a little bit of green to this guy as well. Right. Next, the old Vapor Eagle. Go. And I'm just going to go straight to the green stuff. Oh, there we go. Nice little bit of variation right off the hop there. Let's go to the Piranha. Hold my brush properly here. I was like holding the end of it like it was a chopstick for some reason. I don't know why. I was eating with chopsticks tonight. Maybe that was why. I have no idea. And yes, I do eat with chopsticks occasionally. I have like a actually pretty decent set of chopsticks that my wife and I have. or cherry wood. It's just because we like to make dumplings occasionally, either homemade or store-bought, but we like to, I don't know, eat with Asian utensils when we eat Asian food, because we're typical white people like that. Cultured white folk, I guess. So much culture. Kind of fill this void, and maybe get kind of in between the toes a little bit there. All right. Beautiful. Wipe off those base edges. There we go. All right. Nighthawk 86. Howdy y'all. What's going on, dude? Papa Chicken. Why the satin first? So the satin I do at the very end because it acts as a protector coat. Because satin and satin has very similar protective properties to gloss. It's just not quite as like heavy and thick in terms of like the glossiness to it. So, but I like Vince Venturilla had a pretty good video on kind of his theories on varnishing, and with a little bit of evidence to back it up. He does a really good job at explaining it. A lot better than me, but essentially satin has protective properties in the same ways that gloss does, but ultra matte and matte varnish don't give the same kind of protective properties. So I do the satin varnish and then I follow it up with the ultra matte just to kill all the shine. I'm gonna have to really focus on picking up my speed. It's hard. Takes a long time to get quick with a lot of these things. Love the look of the Vapor Eagle. Has a few too many machine guns for my liking, but it's still fun on the table. Yeah, it's got a crazy amount of machine guns. Audible Jello, do you get your decals from Fighting Piranha? 100%, yep. Asian food is prepared in such a way that chopsticks is the correct and typical better way to eat. You also don't feel as bloated after because you take smaller bites. Interesting. I'm pretty good at eating with chopsticks, and if I'm eating like a noodle or rice bowl, I do the proper Asian thing, and I use my chopsticks as a shovel. I shovel that stuff into my big gullet. You paint with generally pretty saturated schemes too. Satin helps with that. Yeah, I mean, I add the ultra matte at the end, so it kills a lot of the shine that the and like that depth of color that the satin brings to it. But I definitely, yeah, I don't know, like it looks good, and I find I don't have to apply as much ultra matte over top of satin to kill the shine as I do if it was an actual full-on gloss coat. It's also another good reason. Go on to the horned owl here. I'm still super slow. Yeah, like I'm still very slow with certain things. Like I'm a lot faster than I used to be, for sure. But I don't know, like metallics I generally take a little while to do. Blending I take forever to do. Like I'm not quick at all. I watch videos of certain people blending and I feel like they're only doing like 4 or 5 passes with their glazes, and they're like, oh look, that's perfect, that's creamy. And I'm just like, dude, like 4 or 5 passes, I'm just starting to see like the beginnings of my blends. It's yeah. But I also only have like 5 consistent consecutive years of painting. All the rest of the stuff was just kind of dabbling in my youth, so I still got a ways to go. I'm gonna go ahead and change the music here. Put on something a little bit more exciting. Oh yeah, here we go. There, that's a little bit more fun. A little bit of synthwave. I'm gonna go with a little bit less on the Vixen's bass. Probably gonna add some bigger shrubs and stuff to this one. Kind of like doing that with some of the smaller mechs just to kind of fill out the bases a bit. Alrighty. Gonna do a little bit of the blended stuff. And a bit of the green stuff. Part of the framing here. There we go. Cool. Good to go. Only got a few left here. Got the Fire Moth, the Nova, and the Puma, or correction, not the Puma, the Pouncer. Pumas do pounce, but it is a Pouncer, not a Puma. Also going to go with a little bit less on this guy. Probably go with some bigger shrubs. Go. Go on to the Nova here. Once we get to the clump foliage, that's where things start getting a little bit more fun. And then the grass tufts are always fun. Just trying to figure out like where you want to place them. I really like utilizing the small ones, like the really tiny ones that I have there. It does get a little bit tedious sometimes, especially if I'm doing like a proper desert base and I'm going to kind of like scatter kind of a mixed density all over the entire base, especially if it's like one of my bigger 40 mil bases. A little bit tedious, but they look great. Alrighty, guys, about covered enough. Go, and last little fella. So, not going to fuss around too much there. And we'll go back to the green again. Go. Put that guy there. I'm going to go ahead and just cap this off. And by this I mean my Mod Podge, which is out of frame. So I'm going to cap that off so I don't accidentally knock it over. Now, essentially all of this, I'm just going to dump into the blended turf because this is overwhelmingly brown. So adding a tiny bit of green to this is not going to hurt it. The concentration of green to this is minuscule. So I'm just going to very gently kind of coax this back in. Whoops, I literally just about knocked that over. I like to just kind of bend my lid down and I just tap, tap, tap. This is just like an old Rubbermaid bin, literally Rubbermaid. And I do occasionally make a big mess with this. It is just not necessarily a perfect system, but I've done this numerous times, mixing in the little bits of green, and you can't even tell once I give this a gentle shake. I'm sure I could literally mix this entire container in with this and it would barely be noticeable. Good enough. The bottom drawer of my little storage unit that I keep these flocking things in just has all my flocking stuff, so I don't mind just having a fine layer of flocking dust in the bottom there, so that lid just goes right back in there. Okay. I'm actually gonna grab these and move these back out of that drawer too, so clear a little bit of space. So I'm gonna have a little sip of my Coca-Cola. Acros Jason, I keep most of the random Battletech stuff I do as slightly satin. Nighthawks 86, got a cheap matte acrylic varnish, goes with my cheapo paints. Yeah, fair enough. Acros Jason, but you've seen my stuff for whatever reason. My Battletech all end up that same hyper contrasty style. Don't watch Aaron Clark. The speed at which he blends is just dumb. Aaron Clark, I'll have to check him out. I blame Dale on that Robotech model he got me to paint years ago. Yeah, I mean, that is an absolutely beautiful, I know it's like the Tomahawk, but it's a Warhammer. We all know it's a Warhammer. It is a beautiful miniature. I like that one. I like the, what is that, a Supernova that you did as well? Or am I misremembering that? I know you also did like a large scale summoner. That was pretty sick. You did like a hexagonal pattern in the canopy that I was super enamored with. Papa Chicken Synthwave is great, perfect. Trying to finally finish my Hunchback tonight. Just have to decide on what scene to base it in. Well, it's a very synthwavy Hunchback, so you should do a synthwave base. Basing is probably my favorite part of the hobby. I recently started playing around with UV resin, excited to do some bigger stuff with it. Yeah, if you check out Brushido or Kevin Witt's stuff, he's got a few different examples of resin poured bases that look really cool. He's got like splash effects and stuff like that. And then Stugay as well did a really cool water base on a miniature recently. CSO Stugay, also known as Eric Berg. Nighthawks, got my Innersphere Command Lance yesterday. Between that and the Essentials box, I finally got a pile of shame going. Nice. It will keep growing. You think it's awesome now, it might stress you out in the future. Jason, the Flame Job one, yeah, that one was for the roulette thing last year. Hard to do everything in one color, so the armor is based on the same red. I liked the non-metallic metals you did on that one. I always love the mixture of like cool tones and the little bits of warmth added in. That big Thor is also Dale's. Summoner is one of Dale's sculpts. Yeah. I've just always wanted to do a hexagonal pattern on a canopy, but fuck doing it on one of these. My goodness. Maybe on my 100mm scale Timberwolf, I'll attempt to freehand some hexagonal patterns. I actually do have I have a really large scale Savage Wolf that I got from a British fellow at Gen Con last year. And by large scale, I mean it's literally larger than 28mm scale. It's like, I think like 12 or 13 inches tall. So I could definitely do a little bit of masking on that one, or just straight up freehand. I'm going to go ahead and put this away. I don't actually need the Mod Podge anymore, so I'm going to put that away. And I'm going to put this brush away as well, get this out of the way. I don't know why I still have it out. I'm going to grab my super glue, and I'm just going to use very, very little amounts of this to put a dab on a base. I'm just going to pick the Piranha. Just going to add a tiny little, literally just the tiniest little glob. I'll zoom in on that glob. Boom. Glob. Tiny glob. Just a little guy. And I'm going to grab this clump foliage. Pardon me and my burping. I'm gonna kind of squeeze it together here, and I'm gonna press it down and really press it down onto this. And what this is gonna do is kind of spread out that glob as well as wick it up into the clump foliage a little bit. So it'll kind of spread it throughout the entire bottom area of that clump foliage. I just want to keep it pressing down, that way the bottom all stays in contact with the base, and then the glue will actually stay in contact with the base and hold it in place. It'll stay in contact with the base and hold it in place. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it, as my rhymes are right on time. Jason, I'll have to show you the trial pictures. I did like 5 test panels on that cockpit. Oh god, yeah. I remember commenting on it, and you said that you had a couple iterations in reply to me. Yeah. Letting my kiddo take a stab at the extra rifleman I got. He really wants to do a hot rod flame job. Nice. Get him started young, my dude. I'm just going to do a single clump on this one. I don't want to get carried away and fill up the entire base there, so I'm just going to grab a little one for the horned owl. I'm also going to kind of place it towards the rear. Actually, no, I'm going to place it in the front here. Whoa. If you ever get like a bubble that comes out from your super glue, just kind of keep it away from your miniatures for a little bit and then reattack. And I'm just going to get that out of the way there. Really punted it on the actual model. I salvaged it enough to do, but man, it could have been so much better. One more week. Next Friday is my last day. After that, I guess I'm a full-time painter. I remember you were saying you're taking a sabbatical, right? I drunkenly challenged Suge to a paint-off, knowing I could never compare it to his work, but that turned into MechFrog's NEC painting contest a few months back. That's awesome. No, even if you know or think you can't like beat somebody in painting, always go for it. Like you'll always, I don't know, like it's always good to push yourself, right? Little glob. Wow, it whipped a little too much and actually stuck to my finger. Haven't had that happen in a while. That's totally fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and put another blob on there. And I'm just gonna make this a bigger bush. Big old bush. There's a lot of connotations to that statement. Giggity. None of them really negative. I don't think anyways. Maybe I'm just a classic man. Little innuendo. Jason, if by sabbatical you mean to quit my job, no plan. Oh. Well, that's, yeah. That could be fun. For a while, for sure. Super cool. Can't wait to see what they come up with. Wants to base it on the paint job of MechWarrior 5 Mercs. He saw it and immediately declared he wanted that. But back to Jason there, but finishing the painting studio, started the process of forming an LLC, actually going to do some painting or something for money. Nice. Totally agree. Competing is half the prize in of itself. I've just decided I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring for Adepticon's Golden Demon next year. We'll see what comes of it. Dude, I mean, the painting standards kind of change every year. So like, You never know, dude. You might. And that's not saying like their standards lower. It's just like the things that judges look for and seem to change every year or every couple years. So, I mean, a lot of people surprise themselves when they enter into a Golden Demon. I think it would be a good learning experience. I just don't have enough time to spend like 100 hours on a miniature, and I have too many things I want to paint. So that said, I have been slowly, like over the past half a year, cobbling together parts for a character miniature in Warhammer 40k called Lias Isidon. It's the chapter master of the Raptors chapter. And it's got some pretty cool kit. And it's got a pretty tactical look to him. He also rocks like what's it called? Artificer armor. So it's kind of special, unique armor. But because it is Raptors and it's kind of a Raven Guard successor, I'm going with kind of the Corvus, the Mark 7 Corvus armor helmet, like the Beaky helmet, because the Beaky is always a classic look. And yeah, just gonna go ahead and use my tweezers just to tamp this down. Just like so. Try to get this bush towards the middle. Right in the middle there. Just cause. That's what I feel like. And again, I'm just going to use this to tamp this down. These tweezers are really handy, especially when I do the tufts. I like to kind of get the tuft on the end with kind of the bottom side down, and then I'll put the glue right on the bottom of the tuft. Gives me a lot of control. When it comes to the clump foliage though, I prefer putting the glue on the base and then placing the shrub on. I'm actually not going to put any on the Warhawk base just because there's not a huge amount of space on the base. I am going to put it on the Timberwolf though, so I'm going to use a little bit of clump foliage to kind of hide that peg underneath the foot. It's very handy for this. I just didn't feel like removing the support, so wanted to leave it on there just to keep it sturdy. I could have easily like removed it and then added a piece of cork or something underneath, but I just didn't feel like doing that. So like I said, I am going to actually put the glue on this just so I can kind of wedge it underneath the foot a little bit. Just kind of doing that a little bit out of frame, and I'm literally just gonna kind of shove that in there. Whoops. I think I actually got a little bit of rub stuck. There we go, yeah. A little bit of the glue got stuck to the tweezers. That's okay. Rip that off. All right, so that's kind of one side of it. Like so. And I'll probably shove a little bit underneath the front. And then I'll glue like a tiny bit to the side of the peg so it'll kind of hide the whole thing. I'm actually going to place this up on here. It's just going to make things a little bit easier. I'll zoom back out. Jason, it's super fun. I really don't care for painting competitions that aren't open style, but Golden Demon is still neat. Giggity giggity. Let me know when you're open for commissions. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, Raptors, nice. Yeah, the common sense Adeptus Astartes, if there ever was such a thing. But yeah, I really enjoy the Raptors chapter. I really enjoy their lore and just their style. You know, I'm a recon guy, so I good use of camouflage, or good employment of camouflage would be the proper buzzword. If a company OC was in here, he'd be like, oh yes, employ effective camouflage. Those are the buzzwords, Corporal. So this will kind of look like it's about to crush a bush. I'm going to add another little bit underneath into there. Going to find a little guy here. I think I might actually I'm just gonna grab like a paper clip or something just so I can use it as a way to apply some glue to this peg. I'm just gonna grab like an old paper clip that I used as a like a stand for sub-assembly on a piece of cork. Just gonna throw like a glob, just a glob of super glue on there, and I'm just gonna come in here and use that to apply some super glue to that peg, like so. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this out of the way, and I'm just gonna push that in there, like so. And just look at that. You wouldn't even know that peg's in there. It's just a giant bush getting crushed. Snazzy. Even with the, you know, the back toe there, it's pretty good. I love it. Alrighty. I'm gonna add a little bit to the Vapor Eagle, none to the Conjurer, just to be different and speed this up a little bit. We'll give the Vapor Eagle a good sized shrub back here. A little dabby dab. And we'll squish this fucker down. There we go. Jason added the test cockpits to the Flickr album of the Thor. Nice. I'll have to take a look at that. I'll stick them in Discord. They're fun. Yeah, definitely drop them in Discord as well. Common Sense and GW are pretty much mutually exclusive. I'm just reading that Ox message there. Jason, I played in Passacard, cut to the shape of the cockpit and fit them in as tests. Oh my goodness. Are you trying to race through racy words? Oh, Scotty. Close my bottle of blue here. I'm going to go ahead and close this because we're done with this one. I'm going to pop this one open. This is my massive like evergreen color one. I am going to add a few of these. I'm not going to add a lot of them. I'm trying to keep some of these colors lighter. But I'm going to put this here. Just going to grab a few smaller clumps. Just like so. We're going to add one to the front of the Vapor Eagle's base here, just because it's got some kind of smaller evergreen blocking. We'll add a little bit of the bigger stuff as well. I'll go ahead and squish this guy down. Boom. Stay boom. It's good. David Whitworth, now a subscriber. Thanks for subbing. Let's go ahead and grab the Conjurer. I'll throw one of these clumps on the front. I'll throw a good size one here. This has a pretty good size dabby dab. So I'll leave that one a little bit more fluffy. I'm not going to squish it down as much. Dewdrop's got to go to bed, brothers. Have a good one. I'll definitely be using this VOD as a guideline for a better base design. Yeah, take care. Have a good night, man. I'll add a little bit onto the back of the Timby base here. Just a little one, I think. Probably just this little guy here. Pardon me. Good. I'm not going to put any on the Warhawks base. Add a little bit to the Novas. And here it's split there. Whoops. Got a little bit of glue on the foot. That's okay, I wiped most of it off. I'm going to try and use this longer bush actually just to kind of cover some of that. Utilize this. Just like so. There. And you would never know. Oh, and I just noticed I have a spider that was darting across the wall behind my desk. Not a big spider, but caught my eye. Brother, get the flamer, the heavy flamer. No, I don't have too big of an issue with spiders. If I see a brown recluse, I'll definitely kill it. But I don't know. This one's just a little hunting spider, little brown spider. Not a brown recluse, just a little brown house spider. Grab the incubus here and add a little bit of, whoops. I'm gonna add 2 little shrubs actually to the incubus base here. Just 2 little green guys that are slightly separated. Like so. Just cuz. Boom. Now these look a little bit like kind of simple right now. You know, it's like, well, all you did was just glue some clump foliage. Yeah, I get it. All right. Bear with me here. Oh, you know what? Because I want to go fancy pants, we're going to add a little bit of the autumn stuff to this base and a couple others. But once we start adding some of these little grass tufts on, it's going to look really neat, I think. Just adds a whole lot of variation to this. And I really feel like if you're going to have like a properly diverse vegetation base, like one that's dense, like you want to have, you know, like a forested base or, yeah, just like dense vegetation. I feel like you really need like 5 different types of like flocking and vegetation on your base, 5 or 6, just to kind of make it look like it's actually natural. Just my opinion, but I feel like you need like at least 5 or 6 just to have enough variation. I'm just gonna grab a slightly darker clump here, and I'm gonna put this towards the back side, I think. Right on that back corner. I'm gonna add, I'm gonna do the pouncer as well. I'll add a little bit to this. I'll add kind of this mixed up. I like this one because it's got a mix of colors in this clump. It's like oranges and yellows. And that'll go really well sitting on top of the blended tuft, or the blended turf, rather. Oh no, I got a little bit of, that's okay. I'll have to touch up the edge of the base, just with a, oh yeah, that spider's crawling around again behind my picture frames. I'll have to touch up that base as well, but that's okay. I've got two bases I gotta touch up the base rims on. Not the end of the world. And I'll probably do like, you know what, we'll do the Conjurer as well. We'll add some fall color to this. Do it a little bit more into the middle there. There we go. Nice little pop of color. That like orange red really stands out against the dark blue very well. So, alrighty, let's get on to. I've got a few of these dense green shrubs, and let's get some of these added on. The nice thing with these, you can actually kind of gently pull these apart. Like they're kind of pre-made clumps. But I'll show you. So it's a pre-made clump like this, but you can just kind of gently, very, very gently, pull it apart like that. And you can make a couple smaller ones that are a little bit more randomized or easy to work with just based on their size and shape. Some of these are pretty big, and at this scale, I mean, I don't necessarily want to have giant ones, so yeah, I'm just gonna set that down for a sec. Jason, I love basing. I think a lot of people skip it or half-ass it and underestimate the impact it has. 100%. I used to be one of those people. I used to half-ass basing like early on. My first, like, I want to say probably like the first 9 months or so, almost a year that I was like, I started painting in like 2020. Like most of 2020, I just kind of did very basic basing, just because I was just happy to get to the end of painting my miniature. But I realized it makes such a big difference, and you can really tell a story with a really nice base. So I'm not putting like a big glob on this. I'm basically just touching. I want to zoom in. I'm just touching like a little bit of glue on this because the bottoms of these are already fairly sticky. But this is just an extra assurance because I do have some of the stuff already on these bases. I'm going to add it onto Vapor Eagles, and I'll just kind of tamp that down ever so gently. I'm trying to like move some of these things away so I don't squish them, and then kind of pressing in the middle, but that's good. Let's zoom in on this just to show you what it looks like on the base at scale. So again, it looks like a big, like a shrub, you know? It's about like a person's height tall, which totally makes sense at scale. So I think one mistake a lot of people make when they're doing bases for battle mechs is they put vegetation and tufts that are too large, and like stuff you would put on like a Space Marine base. Whereas this, I'm taking a lot of care to make sure everything is kind of representative of the scale that I'm working with. So, but yeah. Go ahead and grab this one. Same thing, I'm just gonna add a little touch to the middle. And I'll add it onto the front here. Same thing, I'm gonna kind of poke this straight down, kind of in between, so I'm not squishing it directly, but I just really want to make sure that this stays tamped down and even and flat. I'm just going to kind of look at all sides of it to make sure I do have a little area here that isn't quite pressed down, so just want to make sure. There. That's good. One little spot right here could be a little bit more flush. Cool. And same thing. Just looks like he's got, oops, zoom out slightly. Just looks like he's got a nice little bush. Happy little bush in front that's about to get trampled. Probably do one or two more of these. Oh, there's actually a couple smaller ones here. That's perfect. Oh, that's a tiny guy. That's perfect, actually. Just a little fella. I'm gonna probably just hold this with my fingers instead of the tweezers. Just because I'm worried about the tweezers destroying this one. And again, just the tiniest little touch of glue on this. I'm just going to kind of hit the bottom of this without actually squishing the thing stuck to it. Just want to make sure that that sticks in place really well. And that looks good, right? Especially kind of snugged up next to the other shrub. You know, because shrubs, you know, shrubs always hang out together. There we go. I think that looks nice. Okay, and I'm just trying to figure out which other one I would like to add. Maybe the Conjurer. We'll do the Conjurer. Actually, no, you know what? The Conjurer's got a couple shrubs on there. Let's get the Horned Owl in the mix. Because the Horned Owl is one of the ones that I really enjoy out of this. It might actually be my favorite. I just love the aesthetic of the sculpt. Very Zaku-like. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Heavy Gear as well. Again, just kind of looking around to see if there's any areas I need to make sure that are actually stuck down. All right, and that one's good to go. Again, nice little shrubs. Couple shrubs hanging out. And I think that's about this, about that for this. About this for that, about that for this. This and that, and this. Now, one thing you'll notice, I'm not applying, like certain of these, I'm not applying to every single base because I don't want every single base to be uniform because nature is not uniform. And if this was a large mech formation covering a large area, chances are they're going to have a wide variation of vegetation surrounding them. So some of these are going to be a little bit more dense than others. Yeah, so that's why I'm not putting them on all the bases. I'm going to go to some of the smaller tufts now. I'll use a couple of these brighter green mosses. These are pretty punchy and stand out really well. I really enjoy these ones. It's like it's a mix of like dark and bright. It's like dark greens and bright yellows. It's very cool. It's like a high contrast shrub without actually being like a neon shrub. Spiders at least pay rent by eating mosquitoes, flies, and other junk. Other creepy crawlies just take up and steal your food. Yeah, 100%. Now, between spiders and cats, I don't really have a whole lot of pests in my house. Looks great, and also has a pretty sick loadout. Oh yeah, the Conjurer, or sorry, not the Conjurer, the Horned Owl. Yeah, 100%. It's a beast of a little mech. Absolutely love it. I think the Horned Owl and Shadow Cat are probably my favorite clan mediums. I think I'll throw this down on the Vapor Eagle. Kind of put it in this little blank area beside the foot. And again, I'm just using these tweezers to kind of tamp that down. Adding a little bit of contrast side by side. Dark next to light. Grab one of these cool, like, oblong shaped tufts. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the back side of the horned owl's base. And that's pretty good. Not going to do it on that one. Not going to do it on... I'm going to do kind of more the arid and drier green ones on these. I think same thing with this one. I'll do one of the one of these on the Warhawk base. Deciding which one here. Actually, yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. I'm gonna do kind of this long one right here. I'm going to put this at a bit of an angle, and I'm going to kind of fill out on either end of this. I'm going to fill out, like, with some of the really small mini tufts. I'm going to put one or two on this side, one or two behind here, and one or two on the other side, and that'll kind of fill out that area really well. And that might actually be it for this base. All right, I think that's it for these ones. Again, we're not going to do every single one. To add a little bit of subtle variation. I'll go ahead and pop this back in here. I've just really found that keeping these things in their containers just is like the best way to store them and keep them organized. It's like a big fat deck of cards almost. So, all right, so we have these dry greens. We'll use some of these on a few of these bases, especially some of the smaller mechs that have some of the more dry looking bases, not as lush. There's actually a few of these I'm gonna have to restock soon. I'm starting to get low on a few of these. Oh yeah, let's get this big long guy here. Let's see which guy has more room. I'm gonna do the Vapor Eagle here actually. This is a good candidate. Boom. So this Vapor Eagle is starting to get quite a variation of vegetation. And you can see what I mean, like having all this variation just really looks natural. And, you know, still leaving some dirt showing through. Because again, in areas like prairie and stuff like that, you're going to have areas where there is soil showing through. I'm just going to move all these guys over slightly and keep more of them in frame. Let's go to the Vixen here. Grab one of these round ones. And I'm going to kind of place this right in the middle. Get that frame. Just kind of placing this on the middle of the base, in between his feet. And then I'll fill out a few of these areas with some of the smaller dry tufts. That one. I've definitely got some room on the. Yeah, I'm gonna use this nice curved one on the fire moss base. Get some of this excess glue off. There we go. Figuring out which way I'm going to do this here. Not ideal. Slide that forwards. I just had the tuft slide around a little bit on the base, but I think I fixed it. Yeah, basically. All right. And again, we'll fill this base out with some of the dry tufts. I'll do these. I already have to touch up this one. A few bases I'll have to touch up slightly, but that's okay. Very small, minor things. That'll take only like 5 minutes at most. Quick little touch of paint, and then a little bit of ultra matte varnish, and done. Okay, I think that's about it for these ones, and I'm going to go onto the really tiny tufts, because those are going to be kind of the best bet for filling out the rest of the. Not even really going to bother with these ones, because they're a little bit large. If I was using like 40mm bases and I had a lot more room to work with, I would probably be utilizing some of these larger tufts. I also have some like larger tufts that have little bits that look like fallen splintered logs and stuff in them. They actually look really cool, but I just not going to use them here. These bases are just not big enough, and thematically I just don't think they would fit well. I'm going to go ahead and, again, just a tiny touch. I'll start off with the Piranha. I'll come in on the back here. So these are the tiny 2mm tufts. Some really, really epically small ones here. I'm honestly gonna use just the tiniest little bit of glue that I have on the side of the bottle there, not the actual nozzle. Side of the nozzle, not the actual opening. Get a couple more of these in here too. Just these little guys. These little guys really are a nice touch. Kind of zoom in on this a little bit. Just kind of do a slow rotation, but yeah, like these tiny tufts add such a nice touch to these bases. Probably add a small one or two over here. I'm gonna pull out the I have the tiny green ones. I'm gonna pull those out right now. We're going to use both of these. One of these. I'll put that on the other side of the foot there. A little bit. Just like so. There. Lots of variation in a very small area, just as nature intended. So that feller is done. That's one down. Alrighty, man, nice catching a stream for once. Primer's down on the last bits of Bobby G, so I'm done painting for the night. Keep crushing it, my dude. Take care, Jason. Thanks for hanging out. Keep these on screen a little bit better here. Little green guy here. Kind of like a triangular green guy there. Look at that shape. Leave it. Add a little bit right over here. And I'm going to add like a tiny guy right there as well. Like one of these really, really epically tiny ones. Just using kind of the side of the nozzle to get the glue on there, rather than actually putting a bubble of glue on it. Alrighty, that guy's probably good to go. Vapor Eagle's only gonna get like one or two of these things. Probably some of these smaller of the tiny tan tufts. Another one or two of these, just because these are such a nice touch. Grab one more. This three's company. Finding a spot on my nozzle to touch this to. There we go. And I'm just gonna place this one over here. Just like so. Now they tamp those down. All right. So as you can see, good amount of variation. Nice and lush. But it makes sense, you know what I mean? Your head was in the way? Was it? My head notoriously loves to get in the way of the camera. It's a blessing and a curse placing the camera where it is, because it gives the best view of the miniature. But because of that, if I tilt my head too far forwards, I end up blocking out the camera. Thankfully, I am mostly an elbows on top of the desk kind of painter, so it kind of forces me to sit up straight. But invariably, I always do this. And my bangs and the top of my hair always enter the frame at some point. Usually a crucial moment when people want to see what's going on. There we go. I'm gonna add like one or two more of these, probably a couple of these tiny guys. So, and I'll grab one more. Again, this is just the tiniest little ones. Just get that to focus, like super, super small. And I think the fire moth space is probably good to go. I think that's good. 6 left to go. We'll add a couple to this. Do a couple tan and a couple green. Do one of these smaller tan ones as well. Front of the foot here, and I think that might be it for that one. Let's go to the Conjurer. We're definitely going to add a decent amount of tan and green tiny tufts to this. Just because this one doesn't have a huge amount of stuff on its base right now. So I kind of want to fill this one out just a little bit more. Grab a green one as well here. Area around, probably. Yeah, right here. Call this the denser vegetation area, and then I'll throw like 1 or 2 small ones kind of in the middle there. Probably some of these more arid ones, just because they'll pop really well. So, and I'll grab one more as well. And just a little touch. Cool, and probably do a few little green ones on the backside here. Recently started watching, totally off topic, I recently started watching The Last of Us. I haven't seen it yet, so never played the game actually. I'm one of those weirdos who I never played the game. No real rhyme or reason, just didn't ever play it. So I really should play it, but I don't know. The first 2 episodes so far have been pretty good. Partway into the 2nd episode, anyways. But I'd always I didn't really know about Last of Us years and years ago. I didn't know about it, and I had heard about cordyceps mushrooms, and I had thought, I was like, man, that makes the perfect zombie scenario if they ever evolved to, adapt to the human body. We'd be screwed. And sure enough, somebody had already thought that because they made a game about it. But yeah. Okay. Much more arid look to this base than some of the others. So that's totally cool. Yeah. I'm gonna grab 1 or 2 of these larger tan ones. I'm gonna throw one of these on the Pouncer's base. Underneath here. So I'm gonna get one more on there. Actually, no, I'll do a couple smaller ones. Ah. Go. And I'll probably get one or two of the small green ones on that base as well. Again, just for a little bit more variety, more garden variety. More probably, just a little guy. Place this one more towards the front here. Cool. This guy's got a decent amount of variation on the base. I'm happy with that. 3 left to go here. I'm gonna get a couple of these smaller khaki tufts on Nova's base. And I think on the Warhawk base, I'm going to put one of the larger beige tufts. So I think that'll fit well. I think that's probably good. That guy's got a good variation. We'll throw a few of the small green ones and 1 or 2 of the arid tan ones on the Timberwolf base. Bring some back here. 1 or 2 of these really tiny ones. And I'm just tapping it to where I see glue on the side of my nozzle on my super glue bottle. That way I'm not getting a big bubble of glue on this thing. Okay, and I'm gonna add 2 of these smaller tufts, these tan ones, the base. There we go. Put them out and plunk her down. Okay, Timberwolf base complete. Really happy with how covering up that peg worked out. So, good to go. Alrighty, and yeah, we're gonna grab one of these slightly larger beige tufts. I add it kind of into the middle here, I think. You can see what I'm doing there. I kind of added it in between the feet here. And then I'm going to add a few of these small guys here and like 1 or 2 over here. I'm going to add a couple green ones beside this. I think that's going to round that little corner out really well. Just finding a good spot to... There we go. Corner, and I'll grab one more little guy. Okay. I am going to throw like 1 or 2 arid ones right here. And then we're done. One of these smaller guys here, and this is the last one. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly put this stuff away, and then we'll take a quick final look at all these. We'll have to do a couple touch-ups, but I'm not going to do them tonight. I'll do those another time because they'll be quick and easy. I just don't feel like doing them right now. Page. Gonna quickly throw these in a drawer. They belong in. I know I don't always make cleanup time part of the stream, but do this just to save myself a bit of work right afterwards. Plus, it's also showing me being responsible and tidying up my workspace, as all of you should do after you are done painting. All right. Get these fellas all set up here. I'll get them a little bit more centered. Look at them. Those look pretty good. I'm happy with that. Mantardos, my sister was a coordinator on the show, fan of the first season, haven't watched the second yet, never played the games either. Yeah, it's just a really cool concept. Like I used to be a huge fan of zombie movies, like the Zack Snyder remake of Dawn of the Dead, I think is probably my favorite zombie movie. It unfortunately got overshadowed by 28 Days Later because they came out the same year. But yeah, it's got Sarah Polley, Ving Rhames, a few other people on it. But like the guy who played Phil from Modern Family, he plays like a complete asshole, and yeah, like it's great. It's like the remake of Dawn of the Dead by Zack Snyder it's probably Zack Snyder's best film, legit. All the special effects were pretty good in it too, and the zombies run like they fucking run full tilt. They're terrifying. So yeah, but. Yeah, I definitely enjoy the fungal origin of The Last of Us. I think it's a lot more grounded and realistic. It seems like a much more plausible explanation than, oh, it's just a virus that kills you and then somehow brings you back to life. Well, fungal infection that changes your psychology and then turns you just into a drone makes a lot more sense. Jeffrey Lewitt. Nah, not weird. I never played it and watched the show. One of the best shows I've seen, and was happy to have known where it was going. Butterflies and Bugs. This is really useful for giving me ideas for some 3mm tufts I want to base. Nice. I'm really happy with these. Zoom out just slightly. Big fan of how this guy turned out. The little laser glow. Base looks good. Jump jets look nice. I was taking a look at the jump jets on the Conjurer, actually. These guys look really good. Pretty happy with that. Little glowy boys. Alrighty. Just want to take one closer look at this Warhawk, because this is definitely one of the nicer ones out of the bunch too. And yeah, tons of variation on those bases. Start small and then go big. That's just the easiest way I have found. Yeah, I hope you folks enjoyed watching this and learned a little bit. We're going to pop over to the Discord right away here, and we'll close out the show with that. We'll take a look through the real-time painting channel, see what you folks have dropped in there, chit-chat a little bit, and sayonara. Mantarda said, love that Warhawk other than the Supernova, my favorite clan Assault. Yeah, I think my favorite clan Assault is probably the Mad Cat Mark II, but that's just because I'm a child of the FedCom Civil War era. I grew up with Mech Warrior. Well, I mean, I grew up with all the Mech Warrior games, but really grew up with Mech Warrior 4 Vengeance and all the expansions, Mercenaries, Black Knight. But yeah, let's pop open the Discord here quickly. There we be. All right. Yeah, we got some stuff to go through because there's been a number of things posted in here since the last stream. Oh yeah, this was Papa Chicken, his synthwave kind of themed Hunchback that he's working on. Looks pretty good. Eris and Wolfhound getting worked on. Oh yeah, this is Audible Jello's Atlas 2. Used a decal on these areas from Death Ray Designs. I just know that because he shared it. And I took a look here. Pretty snazzy. Look at that. Shotgun shell. Look at that. Oh, more work on the Atlas 2. The red stuff coming together here. And then Dexter De Santos was asking for photos of painting setups. People sharing their various painting setups. The old Velasic pickles. Nice. Table filled with paints. Empty your cans. Mana Culture, Audible Jello. Little setup there. Nice little modest setup. That's pretty cool. Oh, is that a 3D printer in the background? That looks super cool. I've never seen anything. I've never seen a printer like that. I've seen a lot of rectangular 3D printers. Oh boy, Audible Jello with more of those red and gray mechs. These look great. Looks like little mech base stands. I like that. I like the highlighting on the red. Could always be a little cleaner, but you know, it's good. Nice and punchy. This is my desk when it was not quite as cluttered with camera equipment. This is a little bit of this is like the older setup that I had before I got my new camera mounts. Audible Jello showing his face in here. Got the old magnifier glasses on. I've actually yet to use those. I've heard good things. More progress. Oh, look at the highlighting on the gray. That looks nice. That stands out really well. Good job on that. Getting ready for the stream was your motivation to finish it. Nice. Happy to hear. Oh, look at this. Nice little close up. Dexter De Santos' magnifying glasses got the little LED lights on the side, it seems. Update of what Dexter De Santos has been doing. Getting some edge highlights, detailing, finishing. Yeah, I think this was his first miniature painted ever. This Battlemaster in the middle. So not bad at all for first miniature painted. Got the little spin job of the Atlas 2. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, here's Jason's. So this is a large scale summoner. Look at the hexagonal pattern and the canopy. I love all the heat, like the heat effects on the barrel. I haven't seen this miniature in a while. I like the emblems. Oh yeah, he went through a few different iterations of the canopy, that's right. That's with the blue again, but different, like it's almost like a dark green over the blue. A different variation of blue. I really like this one actually. That looks really cool. You can kind of tell it gets like more refined as he goes through here, like less refined, not as neat, and it kind of gets neater as he goes along. Like this is really nice, really clean. And then I believe this is the one he finished with, and this looks really good. This goes with the rest of the paint job really well. Like it fits in with the color scheme, but I think I personally actually like the blue a lot better, just because it stands out. You got all this red and gray, so I feel like this stands out really well. This is him testing out with the masking and different colors. More photos from Autobugello. That's looking really good, man. All right, this looks considerably cleaner than the other three that you shared. So really good stuff. Yeah, like you can kind of tell this is like noticeably cleaner than these other ones. Like this one looks pretty good. This Atlas, a little bit messy on the face, but like very clean paint work. So you can tell you're getting some progress. Ooh, Crockett or Katana, depending on your preferred nomenclature. Mercs, eh? Okay, that's pretty cool. That's from Griffin there. Happy to see you posting in there, Griffin. I saw you say hi in the chat earlier. All right, well, this was fun. Really appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I'm really happy to finally finish all the miniatures. Like we finally did it. It's been just under 5 weeks. This Saturday it'll have been 5 weeks since we started. So yeah, really happy to have finished all this. It's really awesome. Autobugello, the Viper Dragonfly was the first model I did edge highlighting. Well, you can see like a clear progression, like over the miniatures. Like you get cleaner and cleaner from miniature to miniature. So it's really good. Keep practicing, man. Miniatures like the Atlas 2 that have like good hard edges, they're really good to practice on. So, no, looks good, man. Nighthawks later on, hopefully have some stuff to show off next stream. Nice. Looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna paint next stream. I'll be brutally honest. We should be streaming this Saturday. I'll post a confirmation of that in a day or two at most. But should be still streaming on Saturday, barring sick family members getting in the way. I shouldn't say getting in the way. You know, they're sick. Sometimes I've just got to take time to look after them. There's no harm in that. Yeah, I've got a few things we can paint next time, so I'll put out a poll and we'll see what the folks want. Thanks for hanging out. It's been a relaxing painting session. Hope you enjoyed your stay in Arclight's Asylum. My name is Zach. It's been another lovely evening of real-time painting. I'm going to bid you all adieu. Have a good Thursday evening. Happy Friday. Happy oncoming Friday. Early Friday. It's Friday Eve right now. Almost the weekend. Have a good one, folks. Cheers.